Hey, so you're not gonna believe this game I just started playing, and it's a game that has popped up on my radar about a year ago, right? Now, I never really truly got to play the game back in its original demo, but I don't know if you have checked out Tribe 9 out yet. But it's definitely a game worth checking out if you're a fan of RPGs with a tad bit just a slight gacha elements to it. Now, yes, that they may sound absolutely crazy, but this game shows more premise to an RPG with the blend of gacha. From when I was playing the game, I have honestly completely forgot that this game is a gacha. You don't really have to get to see the obvious elephant in the room. You would notice in most gachas because Tribe 9 really feels like a fleshed out game, blessing both PC and the mobile market. Now, this episode will focus on my initial impressions of the game so far, and the game does have some mixed reviews on Steam, but I think a lot of the hate is definitely coming from hardcore gacha players that are currently upset over the gacha rates. If you are one of those hardcore gacha players, then definitely let me know what you guys think of the gacha rate if you have already played Tribe 9, or are you just a casual and the game is entirely fun. I would just love to hear you guys' thoughts. With all that being said, I want to just talk about the story premise because goddamn, this game turns dark pretty fast. If any of you ever watched The Truman Show, this movie, right? The game's initial beginning will make a lot more sense if you have watched this movie. Now, for those of you who did not watch this movie, which, side note, I definitely would recommend checking out The Truman Show, but I'll explain the premise of that movie and hopefully it will make a clearer picture of how this tutorial works. So picture yourself going through life day by day, but the entire time you can't go too far out from your city. Practically most of the people you talk to are NPCs, and you were essentially on a TV show and people are watching you like your life is a TV show. I'm not going to spoil the entire movie, but when I was playing the very first initial chapter of Tribe 9, when the game feels like this old Super Nintendo type of game, this old school games, that's what it kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, I thought this is a full-blown RPG. The tutorial definitely tricked me a little bit, but we do learn that we are a hero that is made to fight a great evil, and I'm putting quotation marks around there. Basically, to be honest with it, you're being brainwashed, thinking you were in a village to be a hero, only to find out that it was all fake. Your entire life was fake. You were made to just do all these current things that are just absolutely weird. And your entire life was just made to be a prison. You yourself are currently tasked to take part in deadly games in a futuristic Neo Tokyo, and one of those games that really stood out to me is this Extreme Baseball, or XB as the game calls it, which is a crazy, insane version of baseball, which instead of using a regular playing field, it uses the entire city as your field. That concept alone is like, what the hell is this? And that's what really intrigued me more, really reeled me in. So far, the game is really dark with a lot of dark themes, but it really blends it very well with the contrast from the characters and how animated they are and how expressive they can be and just being this colorful one. But this game does get dark. Even the blood in this game is like this neon color. So when you're watching people have their lives ended, essentially, you start to see this bright pink and purple colors instead of, that crimson red blood. But I also say I do love the game's campaign. It's kind of like walking you through the mechanics of how the game works as it continues. I feel like Tribe 9 definitely does it a lot better than most gacha games, where it's it really plays into the story instead of it just being a separate of what the actual game is. So I give Tribe 9 a props for that one. The game definitely did hook me in with its dark theme of the story. The characters really help convey that darkness, and especially because most of these characters are teens or young adults in some sense. So it's kind of it's fucked up, to be honest with you, but that's what we love it. We pay good money for this. But of course, that is just a story. I don't want to spoil it. If you want to check it out, definitely go check it out. But I do want to talk a little bit about the gameplay, because the gameplay, I have pretty great opinions on this game. The Tribe 9 is split into multiple parts, and I'll go over a few key things to note about. But after the tutorial, you get to freely explore the world and the overworld, and you can really choose to avoid fights or start them. You are also essentially exploring the streets in Neo Tokyo with this beautiful pixel art as the style, but you can attack the enemies who are wandering around. Like I said earlier, this game feels like a fleshed out JRPG. I can see the vibe from any many older games back on the Super Nintendo, even PS1 days, especially definitely hitting a nostalgia point for me. When you do encounter enemies and you'll enter an instance, we get the second point of the game, which is the combat itself. So the game has team battles, right? Team battles and single battles. And to be honest, the combat is actually really fun. When you're with your party, you'll all face off against the enemy. The combat becomes engaging once you're able to really swap between parties or like the characters in your party. It is very similar to a lot of JRPGs out there, especially some of the action JRPGs. But you also, when you're maximizing your characters, you can deal like decent damage. You get to do team attacks that also chain together. And those team attacks are also absolutely crazy as well. Deals great damage, but overall seen as a way to save your ass at a lot of moments. Then combat is definitely engaging for sure, but also what is a RPG or what is a gacha game without the ultimates, man? I really do love the ultimates as well. They're very well designed, they're highly animated. There's also the tension system in this game, which overall adds a passive thing that basically represents the morale of either side, which players can see at the top of the screen. It can be increased through several ways, just like attacking enemies, or if they attack you, or using chain skills, and you will start to see the tension meter rise up. Lastly, of the core gameplay loop is what the anime is based off of, which is XB. Like I said in the story premise earlier in this video, XB is Extreme Baseball. The game is a blend of a debate, duel, or just a regular game. The whole point in the world of Tribe 9 is that whoever's opposing sides express their ideas, decide what concept is correct. The entire cities are spread throughout and has multiple tribes, and if one tribe cannot get along and another tribe cannot get along, what can actually happen is they can put up a particular discussion or debate. Whoever wins the baseball game, who their entire ideology or discussion or debate is now in full frontal, and the other team has no choice but to listen. That would be a crazy way of how modern day politics go. You know, we got the United States where we have Republicans and Democrats, and just picture them debating over baseball, and whoever won between, and it has to be them. They can't have people play for them. It's them. You know, all Republicans versus Democrats, or any other part of the country where there's politics going on. Picture ideas and concepts being decided over a crazy game of baseball. Now, you will also see like very collisions with opponents' opinions. So as they kind of showcase a little bit further in the game, when you get to towards the end of the tutorial, you can see those conflictions of opinions really take almost to really add some drama to the baseball games. Now, you did notice earlier I did say an anime called Tribe 9, because yes, the video game is an adaptation from the anime. Right here's what really made me like this game, because overall, between Tribe 9's focusing on these ultimate death games, so far I've been really loving the death games in a lot of Asian media right now. And those death games, like there's Alice in Borderland, there's Squid Games, of course, and just like all of those death game type like I really enjoy those. So really seeing the premise of this story like really synced me into it. And of course, all of this is going up against the antagonist of the story so far, called Zero. Now, one thing to note, the anime and the video game are two separate stories in the same universe. The anime follows a different set of characters, while the video game follows a different set of characters that are also in the same world, cities and stuff. But the way this world works, or should I say politics of this world, is oftenly debated and taken care of during the baseball games. Like I said earlier, you'll see tribes argue a point during the game. Depending on whatever team win that game, the rules and ideals are implemented, and the other tribe must follow that. In the video game, we are set to go up against our big boss Zero, and he is one of the first people we actually end up playing the extreme baseball as well, with our party having a conflicting ideal of the world. He's having a conflicting idea, and we decide the fate of that based on one singular baseball game with him. Now, while we are talking about the extreme baseball parts, I got a couple of things I want to take note. First things I want to take note of is the visuals. Visually speaking, Tribe 9 looks absolutely great. The visuals look great with this mix of pixel art and beautiful 3D designs. It blends very well with the style and the theme the game is trying to tell. But the true contrast goes with all characters having great designs. They're very expressive designs. Tribe 9 presents a visually striking and energetic aesthetic, blending elements of cyberpunk, sports, stylized character designs, with the game be set in a futuristic Neo Tokyo, which incorporates classic cyberpunk elements like neon lights, urban sprawl, and as well as advanced technology. This creates a overall vibrant and dynamic backdrop for the action that we see take place in the game. And also during your XB match, it is crazy how visually good they emphasize the speed, the intensity, and the overtop nature of these matches. There was this one part where they really showcases the dark theme towards the end of the tutorial, and when you truly realize the overall themes of death in the game. But I think this is what truly has drawn me to this game. The way Tokyo looks with this cyberpunk future, and even in the fact of how blood is even in this, and blood is even neon in the game. It has its fucked moments of toying with the memories of main guy, and with him not being able to remember his childhood friends. Death is always a major theme that really hits and succeeds with this game. And of course, what really sends that home and knocks it out the park is that death is one of the ways to be eliminated, and it's actually the only way to be eliminated from these games. So defeat is not always good when it comes to a lot of things. But my overall thoughts on Tribe 9 is honestly, it's fun as a JRPG. I love the cutscenes, really sucking me into the story. The way how expressive the characters are and the voice acting definitely helps drive it home. The gameplay in itself is fun. I'm not honestly the biggest hardcore gacha fan, so I want to make that premise now. And I already said this earlier, but I have plenty of gacha games on my phone. I like playing them. It's a nice little fun side little thing that I do from playing my major PC games. And I can't sit here and join in on the hatred for the game because of its pull rate. Because to me, as a free-to-player, I played a lot of games that are free-to-play. I play all my gacha games free-to-play. I don't spend a dime in them. And I couldn't tell you anything different. The game just seemed fun. So what I would do is let all my gacha friends and YouTubers explain how good or bad the gacha part of the game is. Because so far, I have not spent any money. I have used the currency in game and pulled for some characters, got some nice characters that were on the banner. And hey, I've been enjoying my time. I really have not had issues. But for anyone who's actually would enjoy this game though, is fans of action RPGs with a great story, banger soundtrack, and playing a super crazy version of baseball, then you'll honestly love it. I feel like so far the hardcore gacha spenders won't be the happiest, but hey, hopefully it's something that gets fixed over time. So it fits both parties, your free-to-players and your whales so far. This feels like just a nice single-player JRPG with gacha elements. And we also have a community Discord where we talk about all things RPGs and more. Go check out the link below. And if you want more RPG content, subscribe to the channel for more. But let me know what you think of Tribe 9. Would you be playing it? Therefore, as always, it's been your host, KSD TV, signing out. Peace.